Um, let's chat. Let's talk. Let's see what's up. What's happening as we're rounding the corner on the last week. How are we doing? What's the most present thing that's happening? Eliza, do you have to leave early for bedtime? Yeah. Are you ready to share?
Yeah, happily, happily, happily. So I bought the house.
Woohoo! Oh my god, I can't wait to come and see your house.
It's
Michelle Hawk,
amazing.
do you see the photos? Ugh, we're on our way. When we go to
Well,
Scotland, we're gonna stop at your house.
cool. I would love that. I would really love that. Yeah, it's the house I dreamt of. Oh, has my internet gone?
No.
Honey. It's the house I dreamt of 25 years ago. So that's pretty amazing for me. That's where we can move fast. Absolutely. Yes, there seems to be enough space. Yeah, so that's been the big thing in my week. And there's been other things going on outside of my work life to do with my daughters as well, which it all feels like the Libra supermoon is having a big old effect. And then, because, I don't have enough going on, I have taken up a much bigger role in Misfit. Ebony, who is the friend through whom Kat and I met originally, her company, I now deliver all the programs she's currently offering, and she's on a sabbatical.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Is that awesome?
Just a little small part-time thing,
Mm-hmm.
I spent the last 4 days building the inside of my van. So might take a break sometime.
I doubt it.
And yes, the place is big enough to host a retreat and a ceremony. And it has an amazing river that's basically, the house is built like right next door to amazing river. And you go out the front door and you walk over the bridge and then you turn right and there's the beach. And in between there are just fields with alpacas and donkeys in, because, yeah.
Super powerful. Yeah, where the river meets.
It feels amazing. It feels really, really, really amazing. Like the whole place feels really, really, really amazing.
Yeah, we're there. We're planning things.
I am so excited. And I really want to say that this group of people, I know I've been kind of, oh my gosh, yes, dragon retreats, come do them. I'm actually getting like the weird all over body shivers that I get when I'm like, yes, this is a thing, I must follow this. Yeah, I just want you to all know that you've had I may have dipped in and out a bit more than some of you have been able to because of the time differences and stuff, but I've watched all of the replays and I've really, this being in this space has had a huge impact for me. And it's been super supportive, and I'm really grateful to you all for being in it and making it so super supportive and transformative. And I just, whenever I'm here, I feel like, I could just do anything. I mean, the possibilities just feel limitless. And it's really cool because, the rest of life is not like that, right? The rest of life is like a series of barriers and conditions and hoops to jump through and conspiracy theories, the other side of that, and it's just really, it's been great, Kat. This has been a really valuable, truly spiritual space to be in, and I'm really grateful for it.
Yes, yay, thank you so much. We're really grateful that you're here, and I'm really excited about you getting your work out there, and also, I mean, even this thing with Ebony it's like, okay, here you go.
Well, I get to lead it my way, so that's the cool part. So the reason she's taking a sabbatical is she spent 20 years building something, And then she's handed it to me, but she's still been there kind of going, actually, what you want to do is, she's chosen to take a sabbatical. We've agreed with her strongly. Yeah, and it's great, you know, it's really cool. It's the next bit. And I will carry on with my letters, and I will carry on building something slowly in the background that will be the next thing.
Beautiful.
And come, have your retreats and ceremonies and bring them to the UK. We need more of this.
Yes, yes, that's what we're doing. Michelle and I have already been planning a UK dragon tour.
Amazing. You know, I'll come for the Scotland leg too, right?
Totally. Kathleen is going to be there.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else? Anything coming up that you need support on, Eliza?
Well, I'm sick at the moment. Obviously. This is what happens. So I've just I'm gonna start taking some care of my physical self.
Good.
Again, it's a loop I run. Yeah, what do I need support with? I just don't, I'm just letting it flow at the moment. You know, life just, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of reaching the end of its cycle. And so I'm just in that space, really. I'm not really able to anticipate things that are coming up. I don't feel like I am. Everything seems to be kind of resolving. I seem to be in that space. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. But I tell you what, if I think of something, I will go to the group and I will ask for support.
Brilliant. And it's so much to just move your house.
Yeah. I looked at the cost of removals and I've basically decided it's worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Have somebody else just
do it. Yeah.
Because if they break stuff, it's fine because, you know, they did it.
Right.
Not me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Okay, I'll go, even though my tea just timed. Hi, everybody. Thanks for sharing that, Eliza, because I feel the same whenever I come onto these calls. Like, I can do anything. So I completely empathize and can relate. So I'm happy, Kat. Thank you for providing. I went back to call 3, I think, when I was trying to figure out what would I offer at the end of these free things that I was giving. And I offered, the one thing, the circle that I just was a guest in on Sunday, I invited them to have a chat with me to further the discussion. And 2 of the women reached out like right after the session. So I have 1 person booked and 1 person kind of just, I'll touch base with her. I'm waiting for her reply. So I'm happy about that. Feels really good. And things come through me really powerfully at this time of my cycle. So I was up really early. And one of the things was, oh my gosh, I should be doing this more often. And not in an interview style. What I found to be different about this that I enjoyed is that I was a guest in her group. She introed me really simply, and then it was basically like I was leading a class. And I say yes to more of that. So my question, so I have 1 thing to share and then 2 questions. So my first question about that is, okay, now how do I ask for that? Like my instinct in my doer mind is like, oh, just post it on Facebook and look for these people who are like leading circles. But I don't know how to, I feel like I can get stuck in the idea that I need to have it really polished. I know I need to have some sort of like, here's what I do and here's how I help you. But I also want it to be less about me leading from here's what I do and here's how I can help you, and more like, hey, here's this conversation I had recently and this is what happened. If you're leading these kind of talks, I'd love to offer up a free chat or something like that.
Yeah. Michelle's saying to make a one pager with your bio and a list of a few topics you can present to an existing group.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would totally do that. I would just jump on Canva, put your photo on there. Hey, this is who I am as my like short bio, and here's some topics that I love to talk about. And if you're hosting a group of, if you have a group of women that you are, you currently have you currently have a group of women, and that you're, coaching or mentoring or whatever. And here's some of the benefits of this. And it could, because it's like, when you look at it from the perspective of like, there's a way that you could relate it to business coaching.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way that you could relate it to dating and relationship coaching. There's a way that you could relate it to like finding your purpose and path kind of, coaching, or parenthood, motherhood. Canva. Yeah, Canva. Jochen, look that up.
Yeah.
It's a free software. You can pay for it, but there's a free version to do all kinds of designs and PDFs and presentations. I also I do my my webinar things on Canva. Actually, it's not what most people use, but I just had found like Canva was so easy. Like PowerPoint, I made a webinar in PowerPoint, and I was just like, I just hate this platform. It's just so gross. I hate it so much. So I actually do all my presentations on my webinar things on Canva.
And you use the free version, Kat?
I've been paying for it just because my assistant my assistant is using it for like, that way she can modify images more easily. Oh, the reason I'm paying for it is so that I can do you can basically make like a logo with a background that is transparent background. You can you can make something, and then that is a transparent background, and then you can overlay that on top of other things, and that just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, that is helpful. I will probably upgrade, and then I will be hiring someone to help me. That stuff is not my zone of genius. It would take me hours. I'm too much of a perfectionist to try to do that stuff. So.
Michelle, you should be able to upload a file. You should, at the bottom, there should be a little file button. Let me know if there's participants can chat with everyone publicly and directly. It should be, not from my computer. It has to be on the drive. You can put a Google Drive link in here, no?
It should.
Yeah, you can share a Google Drive.
It's not on Drive, it's just on my computer though. That's the thing. Let me see if I can share it just so people can have a look of like what a one pager should look like.
Yeah, and I have one. I just need to update it. It's my podcast pitch sheets.
Yeah. So I would totally do that and just look at some of the people, because it's, people are always looking for people to come on and do stuff, because especially people who have like year-long programs, and they're looking to just bring in more content and special experiences.
Okay. And then do you want the easy question or? Yeah. Okay, so then the easy question is, this is a practical question. The next question is more of a personal, emotional question. So the practical question is, I enrolled my first person into my ground level program for the School of Feminine Mastery. And she's doing a payment plan. Great. I'm happy to support that. And I realized that I didn't take a deposit. So I'm just starting her payments in May. And part of me, like the inner business person, is like, you're a moron. I can't believe you did that because you're going to lose this. But then as I'm like, okay, yeah, I could do it differently. Like, we probably need to have $100 deposit or something. At this point, I feel like I'm just leaning into the fact that she's in. I could, and I'm not going to worry about it. But going forward, because we don't start until May, would it make practical sense to be like, okay, cool, you're going to do the payment plan? Great. Let's just hold your spot with X amount of dollars. Okay.
Yeah, or just start the payment plan now. You'll be paid by the time we start,
And you know what? Maybe I will just do that, because here's what I'll do. I'll send her an email with the contract and I'll just have it 2 ways. Here, we can do it this way and you're just going to start now and it's going to be paid for by the time we start, or we can start in May.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it whenever you want, but I would say like when somebody starts, they just start their payment,
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless they're like, hey, couldn't you wait?
Right.
That might be like something they really need you to wait, but
Right.
might not. Might be
Okay.
like, great.
Thank you. And I also want to celebrate that call was so easy. In fact, I know she came to the call with her card. I didn't know that until I offered her it, until the program, or invited her in, but she didn't have to go anywhere to do it. And so I was like, thank you. May all calls be this easy, right? So when I set it up in the way of like, let's have this conversation, here's what I'm doing, and if it's a fit, I'll invite you in. And she was like basically ready. So yay. The last thing that's coming up for me, where I could use some support, I'm definitely know that I need to be more visible. And I don't know why this feels hard sometimes, because I don't have a very big problem being visible. But where I run up against feelings is when I feel like I have to present myself in a certain way, like have that certain polished presentation skills, if you will. And so that's stopping me from actually talking about my work, even though I know that I'm seeing and the universe is showing me that my work is really important and valuable to be talking about. So I could use some help with that.
Does anybody else feel like that? They need to like show up in a certain way and it needs to be like this perfect, polished thing in order for it to not at all. Yeah. Sure will. Yeah. I mean, we all have that. But yeah, and Michelle's like less now, but at the beginning, way more. Yes. And I think that is what this is, right? It's this practice. It is a practice. It's a practice of surrender. It's a practice of letting go. It's a practice of being like, well, this is what it is. This is as good as it is today. And like really just letting things go, like letting things get out there. And this goes for like if you're making a course or you're making anything, that you're not always going to have like the top of the line equipment. You're not always going to have the, perfect place to do something or the perfect platform, or you're not always going to like look amazing. Just, it's just part of it, that like surrender into just being real. And I think that people appreciate that in the end. I think that they're like, okay, that's just a human reality of what this is right now.
Yeah.
I think that you do an amazing job at putting yourself out there, at being seen, at being willing to, you're willing to film yourself, like doing practices, you're taking these amazing photos of you looking incredible in your like red dresses. And does it help to know you can't say the wrong thing to the right person?
Yeah, I think what's coming up is I wrote it down too, and I think I just have to name it, because I don't have a heart. If I'm just doing it to share and it's okay and I know it, whatever, I think when I'm going on to do something in a way that more is a presentation, like for example, I'm feeling super sensitive today. And I went to my computer when I started my day, which normally is not how I start my day. And then, because I'm getting all these downloads, my impulsive self is like, you need to be doing this all right now, right? So, all of this is something that my client experiences. And I feel like I can't share that because if I share that, then I don't look like I can help them. When in reality, because I understand and know what it's like, I can help them. And I think part of it is like, what if I just let myself say, what if I just let myself introduce myself in a way that I don't know, there's got to be something that I can do for myself that when I go to share something that I know resonates for my client, and instead of approaching it from a place of, I have the solution, because I think that's an energy, more like, sure, maybe I have the solution for you. I know it was the solution for me, but like, here's what I experienced. Here's why I know this. Here's how I know what it feels like, because I still feel it too. You know, the difference is I know like the actions to take myself out of it versus where most of my, versus where most people are, where they're like still stuck in it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's huge, right? It's not that you're like, always have this. Well, you do have the solution, but it's not like it's about the solution, right? It's not about solving. It's not about fixing, honestly, right? And so it's that you have the experience and you have the tools and you have the consciousness and the awareness of when to use the right tools, and like when you're not using the tools and what that feels like. And that, the thing is that this is the thing that trips us up, is that we always feel like we need to like have this like insane level of mastery in order to be a benefit, and that's not actually the case, right? Michelle's saying enough empathy so you know what they feel like, but enough expertise so they trust you to lead them out of it.
Right.
It's like, yes, I mean, I'm not the master of much, I don't know. Right, but I have tools and I'm using them, and it's like I say to Michelle, I'm like, every day and every way I'm getting better and better, and that's the path. And so by my expression of my commitment to that is, I think, what resonates with people, that I am, even though I'm flawed and have my own experiences and come from a reactive nature of humanity, that I am just the same as you, that I'm seeking to develop and be devoted and to being different, right? And that's what you're doing. You're holding that space for them, so it makes you really relatable, right? Because you're not coming from this place of like, I'm up here above you telling you what to do and being your mom. Nobody wants their mom around. Like, no, I'm actually here with you. I'm walking right by your side, and we're in this together because like this is what our society has trained us to be like, and I still experience it because it's so deep within us to have this as our experience, and it's painful and it's a struggle and it's a constant practice. So, hey, would you like to learn these things and practice this with me? But yeah, it might feel really vulnerable. Yeah, does it feel vulnerable to?
Like, ridiculous. But also like, I consider myself very vulnerable compared to the average human. But and I'm okay with it. It's just like, oh my God, it's the fear that's like, can I make money if I'm just vulnerable? Like, that's what happens. It's just that voice. It's like,
Yeah, you probably will make more money being vulnerable than anything else.
okay, I'll put on my V for vagina and vulnerability cape and I will go for it.
Yes, please.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
There's a lot of coaches out there who are like, they're trying so hard to be vulnerable, and you're just like, "Ugh, what are you doing?" It's like so hard. But then, yeah, Michelle. But then, like, when you really feel it and you're like, oh shit, that shit's really good. That's really vulnerable. Then you're like, oh, like your heart melts for that person. You're like, oh my God, like they get it. They get it. They got me. They know me inside, outside, upside down. Like I trust this person. Michelle.
Okay. I saw this thing recently on weaponizing vulnerability in the coaching and personal development industry. So, post Brene Brown, right, who was, the really like bringing shame and vulnerability, et cetera, to the forefront of the conversation. All of a sudden, a lot of people in our field were like, oh, I need to be vulnerable in order to, serve my people, whatever. But they did it in a really crappy way where it's like, things that they used to feel vulnerable about that now they have fixed, but they're using it to sell their products. And people smell that 1,000 miles away. So that's the difference between, weaponized vulnerability of I'm, manipulating and actually further perpetuating shame in this thing because it's not authentic vulnerability versus empowered vulnerability. And I think, Lena, you saw my Instagram post the other day, right? Like that felt super, super vulnerable. And it's something I'm in the middle of right now. And I was like, oh God, do I post this? I haven't ever talked about that. But, it obviously resonated. Right. And again, it's like, what do people feel realness?
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say I have a huge thing with like, I remember in the coaching industry for maybe 3 or 4 years ago, where like people would preface vulnerability with saying, I'm being really vulnerable here. Yeah. And it's like, I don't really think you're being that vulnerable. Like you're just saying that you're being vulnerable. And there's like a huge difference. You're actually just saying the word vulnerable and then you're just saying something. So I try to be, yeah. Okay. Well, it's just a practice for me to actually tear down those expectations of my own, like what it should look like. And then just like, okay, I'll just speak from my experience. And if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. It'll be fine. Just
Yeah. And that's one of the vulnerable things when we're like, just putting something out there, it's like, this is not perfect. Blah. It's vulnerable. Rachel.
I was just going to share, I've been exploring this too. And I have a thing, Michelle, what you just brought up about that, weaponized vulnerability. I see it all over the place. I think too, there's a difference between always feeling like you need to be vulnerable versus just being authentic. And that authentic doesn't mean we have to share all the inner workings of our life. Being authentic just is that vibration. So even the little pieces that we do share are us. They're so us. And, or they hold your vibration. I think that, because of Instagram and social media, we've been taught to believe we have to overshare and share all these stories in order to be authentic with our community. And I think that is, I think that needs adjustment, and that we can, even if we share little bits that feel maybe not always edgy, as long as it's aligned and of our truth, then that's authentic. We don't have to pour our heart and soul all the time on social media in order to build business and sell. I think that that's something sometimes we do if that feels authentic. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's this distinguishing for me right now between feeling like I have to be vulnerable versus what's actually authentic. And what's truly authentic that my soul wants to share versus what I think I have to in order to, call people in. I don't know if I'm articulating that well because I'm in the middle of it right now, but anyways, that's just a nuance I'm playing with. Thought I'd share.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Very, very well done. You guys don't need me. All right. What's next?
I would share.
We don't need
Oh,
everything.
sorry.
We need everything, but we need enough.
I've been going through that also, putting myself out there, making some videos lately. And, it's funny because I'll show my husband the videos sometimes after I post them or before. And he's like, what are all these nervous tics that you like all of a sudden have when you're on camera? And it's like,
Thanks for pointing those out.
yeah. I'm like, I know, I'm like moving my mouth. I'm like, and like, and I'm not really a shy person, but like going on social media and like really sharing vulnerable things and, about all of our spiritual journeys and my healing that is so sacred to me. It's like something happens to me when I start to share and I like recoil sometimes or I'll post something, then I'll delete it, and I'm like, no, I don't like that. But I've never felt so ready and confident and really called by spirit to really do this right now. So I just keep pushing myself. And I had a conversation with my husband yesterday about it because my weight has increased this year. It's the heaviest I've been in like 15 years. And so that was like a deterrent for me. And I said, but you know what? I can't like let that stop me because I feel so called to do this. And he's like, did Oprah ever, stop doing her things? And she's been every size. We've seen her at every size. He's like, so we'll see you at every size, doing this. And I was like, I like that. So I kind of wanted to share that because I was like, yeah, and Oprah's awesome. And, we've seen her every way, So, and I'm like, yeah, of course now, like that I'm not my strongest physically, I'm like really wanting to put more out there and do more of this work. But I think that's part of it, just like getting past that and I think over time it'll get easier and I'll know what to say. And I'm just being my authentic self and sharing my experiences and what has worked for me and to get people to know me a little better and know my vibe. But this group has just been so amazing for me. I'm probably gonna cry. I just felt so ready to kind of move to the next level and being in this with people that are so amazing and understand this journey and understand our work, which is so hard to put words to. It's like, it's really given me more confidence and more of a vision and courage to do this for people because if I didn't have people do this for me, I wouldn't be as healed and as whole and strong that I am now, So I want to do that for other people and I just really appreciate this group so much. I'm not really good with the technology, so I'm struggling a little with that. And I'm feeling like I need an assistant for that. But I'm working on my website and I'm writing some stuff for my bio and stuff is already manifesting. I'm having a lot of stuff come through already. So I'm grateful for that. And I don't really know what to call myself yet. That's something I've been coming up like, with the one-on-one work. I had my one-on-one client here Sunday. And during the Reiki, I feel like I'm also doing like some shamanic stuff. It's just coming out, doing a lot of drumming and like, I don't know, moving energy, I guess. So I don't know what's happening yet or to call myself a coach, a mentor, transformational. That's my question is like a little around what do I call some of this work now that I'm doing my website? It's like these words come into play,
Yeah, you're like a transformational energy worker and guide.
Oh, see, Catherine Bird. Transformational. Say that again. Let me write it down.
And guide. And
Okay.
you support people through the process of transformation through energy work, channeling, shamanic work, and guidance through their own self, through the deepest parts of themselves. That you're able to to be present with the shadows and the dark places of life, to find the guiding North Star that you were always
Woo!
to follow.
I love that. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And it feels good to like do some of this one-on-one work with people. As soon as I was done with my client Sunday, I had one of my friends call me and say, I want a session. I was like, okay,
All
the
right.
bed's already there. I'll just wash the sheets and we're going at it again. And in her session, I channeled major people. It was really powerful. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I got archangels, Jesus. I mean, it was like kind of mind blowing. So yeah, I'm really embracing it and going for it. Small Oprah, big Oprah, it doesn't matter. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Yay, Ray. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And Ray and I had a one-on-one session, and it was so great to be able to, actually map out that this is possible. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually a real thing and it's possible. And I really love your reflection of really love your reflection on this awareness of how, like, all of the people who helped you had to move through all of this stuff and claim who they were in order to find themselves into your lives as practitioners or mentors or whatever, however they came to what they were doing. And then to consider, like, oh wow, like the healing and the transformation and the awakening and everything that you've been through because those people were willing to do what you're doing now, is kind of a really beautiful awareness of, like, if you just think of like all those books you've read and all the people who've inspired you, like they've also moved through this in order to bring their work so that you could have your experience.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for it. And like, you and a couple other really big teachers for me, I'm like, if you all didn't have that courage, I wouldn't be this person now. And I'm so whole and so much more healed than I ever thought that I could be. So, and I need this type of stuff, we're different than other people, so I really have a lot of gratitude for that. And to feel like I can now do this for other people, I just feel like, whoa, it's big. So you're all amazing. We don't always think that we are, but like, we are. So I love the reflections of this group, and it's so important and magical to me. So thank you all so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Aneshka, there's something about like, I just keep getting the word multidimensional, like multidimensional recoder and guide for the awakening, something like that, mentor for awakening, something like that. Okay, something like you need to acknowledge because every time I tune into you, like all I get is like massive layers of like structural codes that are that you're able to access through people's fields. And so yeah, it's like like, to be honest, like it's like this challenge of how do you be honest about what's actually happening. Okay. That's your challenge. How do you be honest about how fucking magical this shit really is? Good luck. Okay. Okay, Michelle Christine, where'd you go? There you are. Thank you, honey.
No worries. Wow, that was, I felt some powerful energy coming through you when you were doing that. So I have my talk tomorrow with the Magdalene people, and I spent a lot of time preparing, and I wrote a lot of stuff, and I mean pages and pages and pages. And then on Saturday, my partner made me read it to him because he was like, he just felt like I was getting a little out of control. So it was hard to do. So I sat, we sat down and I read him the whole thing, and he's just like, he's very serious. And at the end, he was like, you're giving inner circle teachings to people that aren't in your circle. And I was like, so I got really, I heard him and I understood, and I was like, oh my gosh. But then I was like, what am I going to do on Wednesday?
Less.
Yeah, for the class.
Less. You need to trim it up and take stuff out.
Well, so I did that. So then I kind of just like started.
Says 5%.
Okay. So the next day, so I kind of just was like, fine, all right, I'm putting all this aside. And the next day we did a channeling session together, and he actually had some really beautiful stuff come through that was interesting. But so then I felt like I had nothing. And yesterday I sat down, I opened up Sacred Space, and I just like pretended that I was having the class to just see what came through. And I actually just like, I asked Magdalene, like, just come inside of me and just speak. And it was like, I recorded, and I'm so grateful, but it was like, I thought it was pretty good. Like, it was just like an outline and just, but impactful. Like, it was like the way she was speaking and the way, so that was good. And I'm still feeling like a little nervous because I hope that happens tomorrow. But I think the good thing was that then I realized like I have all these pages written for my program.
Great. That's amazing. But you were also guided that you needed to not plan everything.
I know. And I know you told me that. And it like last night, then I just had it's just a moment of like, I know it's about my faith. Like I have these like beautiful and powerful guides that like I feel all the time. And it's just like really having the faith that of course they'll speak through me. Like, of course.
Of course they do.
I know. So anyway, so I'm feeling very grateful because now I feel like I have my 3-month program, and Iridia is helping me put that together, like in a page on my website. And yeah, so it feels like, I feel like I've accomplished a lot during these 7 weeks.
Yeah, you have. You've done a ton.
Thank you.
You've done a ton. Yeah, you've gotten so much done the last few weeks. It's incredible.
Thank you.
And Michelle Hawkes reminding you that if you give them deep teachings, it can freak out their systems if they're not ready for it and don't have a contract with the lineage. And that's true. Okay. We're working with people with this kind of stuff. We have buckets. Okay. You have a little bucket. You fill the little bucket. You get the bigger bucket. You fill the little bucket. Then there's another bucket. You get the bigger bucket. There's another bucket. If you try to put as much in that goes in the big bucket in the tiny bucket, their bucket will break.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You break their bucket, which means you break their brain and their energy system, and everything shuts down because it's too much. It's too much for their system to process. For them, and then they'll shut down and it's unsafe, and then they have to like start over. It's like then they have to somehow try to build the little bucket again.
Okay.
Right. More contraction and an aversion down the line to deeper mysteries and healing. Right. Because they might not know that that's what's happening, but it is what will happen. Okay. So you have to be careful when you are holding a really profound, deep lineage and wisdom.
Okay. I mean, I think I was just so excited that I had an audience to like share this with, right? So yeah.
It shows you how much power and energy and information you actually have access to that you're going to be able to put into the big thing.
Yeah. And I think I learned a lot too of just like the power of just like how we show up and how we talk, and like the transmission we give can be more of the teaching than like the words itself.
Yeah,
So,
and you're getting some good stuff here, right? The lineage will select the people. You're letting them know about the lineage, and then if they are the right people, they'll show up, right? And Eliza's saying you need to be clear on where they are with their capacity, and that, she assumes, we all do, we all assume that people are further along than they are.
okay.
Like, I will say something to like, I'm just like, assume people know things, and then I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You don't actually know that. Okay, cool. That seems so obvious to me. Like, that's the simplest, most obvious thing, and they have no idea. So, we have to be careful with that, because we assume people are further along. Like, and especially when I meet with somebody who's like, I've been on the path for blah blah blah, and I've done this and this and this and this and this, and then you're like, oh shit, you haven't actually done any work. That's cool. Okay, let's go back to mom and dad. Let's go back to when you were a kid. Let's go back to, why are you feeling this way? What are you feeling? Do you know what that emotion is? Right? And you're like, okay, great. Actually, you are not where I thought you might be based on what you're telling me. Right, Eliza, I teach a ritual masterclass and have delivered it 3 times, and it only includes 1/10 of the original material. Right. Which is why Eliza has material for a year-long program. Okay. Because she's got these other tenths to deal with. The first, you have to remember, Michelle Christine, remember the imagery of the first door of the temple.
Okay.
The first door of the temple, people walk up to the first door of the temple. They haven't even gotten to the space where they sell the like animals to slaughter them. Like, the ritual things and the like strange tchotchkes and stuff like that. They're not even tchotchke shopping yet. All they've done is they've barely gotten to the door, and they've like barely are climbing the steps. And they're like, at this point, you can just imagine, like, at this point, they're standing in front of the closed door, and they're just looking at the carvings and the inscriptions on the outside of the temple, and being aware of that there is an energy and something special, and there's some sort of transmission through the door, and they are still so engrossed by the carvings on the door that they haven't gotten through the door yet. Isn't this a nice door? Look at this pretty door. Wonder what that thing is. Who is that crazy lady? Why is she naked? Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
So Rua is asking about being on a break with the business and wondering how to balance this out more instead of being full on and then totally off. How can I balance that and integrate the business even when I'm taking most of my time off because I lose motivation? Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's important to look at the cycles, it's like, Lena's work, right? Where it's like looking at the cycles of your energy, especially for the month, and looking at when you do, like, some of us could work like crazy, full out, insane for half the month and take the other month half off. Some of us, that's not going to work. Like, it's like, what's your cycle like? If you need to take a lot of time off, what does that look like? When you're taking time off, are you really taking time off? And you know, coming back to the motivation as far as what's the bigger vision and what's the larger purpose that you're doing. And are you getting enough like days in a row off, or are you trying to put in like a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here and a little bit there, and so then it ends up that you're always sort of semi-focused but never fully focused, but then never fully off, is sometimes some things that people do. Right, you do, and then you take some time off, and then you don't want to come back because you're not actually really ready to come back yet. Is that the thing? Yeah. I feel that. And so it's like really leaning into what's your I think what's your schedule as far as coming like back on track. Like Leslie's saying, I need a full week off a month. I know Michelle Hawk, I don't know if you're still doing that, taking a week off a month. I know you were doing like a Wu-Wei week of a month. How can you incorporate what you know about your cycle to help you balance your work? I did for a couple of years, but not anymore. She's saying, yeah. So there was like that week off a month. Leslie's like, I have to just like go out of town a week a month. And that's what resets. So if you're not actually getting the reset because you're worried about your business, then you never get the reset. And then I find that sometimes it's like, okay, I just had some time off, and instead of being back to full force and I need to be working every day, I actually only need to work like 2 days this week, and then 3 days, and then 4 days, and then now I'm working 4 days a week, and that's great. You know, that's kind of, I generally work a lot. I work a lot 4 days a week. And then I might work a little bit on Friday, and I might have group calls on Saturdays and Sundays because I love you guys. And so I do Saturdays and Sundays because I love you. Right. Do 3 to 4 days. Right. Honor the pace and rhythm of my truth. We all have to do that. And I know that on those days off, like I need, which has been challenging recently, but I need like one day where it's like, it's not about like running errands and like cleaning house and like blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, one day of doing nothing, you know, taking a 3-hour bath and maybe painting, because that's like the best thing. And even sometimes I'm like, I don't want to read any spiritual books, or I don't want to like, anything that is re-engaging me back into my stuff. Okay. What up? Where's everybody else at? Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a break while I charge my computer. Okay, let's get back to work. Michelle Hawk is calling on Aneshka now. We're like, you guys are calling on each other.
Yeah, I felt like it was time. I felt like it was time for me to talk too. Just checking in the way of, I have a call this Wednesday with somebody that I've done medicine ceremonies with. I was speaking to him yesterday about me restructuring my business, and he was asking questions, and he was saying that that he feels like there's something that he needs and he doesn't know what it quite is. And he's like, maybe you have what I am looking for. So we're going to speak on Wednesday, and hopefully we get that. Like, I'm excited. I feel like it's going to work out well with him. He was letting me know that he's in a really good financial spot right now. And other things like that. So I'm like,
Very good. That's money. Great. Okay, great. Yeah, Anishka, I was thinking about you this morning or sometime recently. And I think one of the pieces is because there is this really deep aspect of your work and this multidimensional sort of way that you are helping people to it's like recoding, but it's like remembering, like you're helping people to actually restructure and remember who they are.
Mhm.
And so within that, I think that one of the pieces is that I feel like maybe you are having a struggle with speaking like what the value of that is to people.
Mhm.
Um, which, right, I think is one of the struggles when it is, you know, that level of work of like, okay, well, what's the value of that? Like, why would somebody want to do that? Like, why would somebody actually go out of their way to reorganize themselves? And
Yeah.
to come in contact with, you also have this very deep, like you have very deep, strong guides that have a very like ancient, very strong wisdom that they're holding. And yes, just like I always see this lady there. Like she's like super powerful. And so, you know, I think that some of it is a simple mechanism of you not having had enough people go through your like work with you long enough to actually see what the results are,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And that it does require a longer period of time than you've given it so far because it has so many layers of what people are going through with you.
Mhm.
So are you able to, you know, as you tune into, you know, value and why people would want to do this, um, you know, Michelle Hawke is saying something about anchoring in the structures of new earth into the body and crystalline structures of individuated consciousness. That's not channeled at all. No big deal. I love when you get something you're like, yeah, I totally say that all the time. I totally say crystalline structures of individuated consciousness. This is like that's how I talk all the time. You're like, pass the soup, please. So that's the thing, is that I have none of the jargon nailed. Your clients are the architects of a new earth. They need to get their structures up to code. That's the shit right there. There you go. You, Michelle Hogg.
It makes sense. It makes sense with what I received when I've been writing about helping. It's like I know I'm here to help awaken people to what they have within themselves, and but yeah, and it does have to do with like them also being here to help with restructuring everything that's going on here as well. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense with everything that's been coming through to me when I've been journaling about. And I definitely do need to do more sessions with people, because I mean, I'll be doing a couple sessions with people and then we'll stop, because I've never done packages. Like I've never made it like, oh, we have to do this many sessions.
Right. They can't, and they can't, Michelle's saying they can't do that. Like they can't,
Mm,
unless their internal structure is messed up. It's like astral architecture.
mhm.
Yeah, and what I've been getting for for a while is like you need to be doing longer sessions with people. The longer you work with someone, the more you will figure out how the work is supposed to go. Longer time working with them, everybody's saying it. Like
Mhm.
in order for them to be actually able to integrate what you're capable of doing with their system, it's just gonna take more sessions, so more time for them to integrate. You can't remodel a house in a day, and I think that that's a good phrase for you to share with people as to what this is about,
Mhm.
and to use this language, like use this language of this astral architecture, and helping them um to see that this is about a restructuring, and that it does take time to completely restructure so that you're able to handle astral architect trademark.
That's
Yeah.
another thing though too. I'm trying to think about what to call myself, like
Oh,
either my
yeah.
business. Like I don't know what to call my
Astral
business.
architect. Astral architect. Totally. Astral architect. And whenever I tune in, and I get these it is very architectural, and it's like these lines, and it's very structural as far as like when I tune into something that's like that is an image. It is very structural, and it's very almost like a building looking, sort of a schematic almost, um as as far as like a visual representation, if you were going to like logo something out or whatever. um yes, astral architect. And so I think that once you like I think Michelle says she sees pyramids. Yeah. And I think that once you have worked with some people in a longer period package, you're going to understand it more yourself. But that means getting people, and it's like if this guy is showing up and he's like, I want to do some work with you, be like, okay, this is what the work looks like. It looks like 6 months.
Mhm.
And to because also you don't want to blow him out, right? So you only do 2 sessions a month, you know 3 tops.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, if he wants to message you, or if you want to use Voxer or whatever you got. um uh yeah, how does that feel?
Yeah, I like that. It feels good. Like I like this astral architect name. I wrote it down, definitely. And then I think the 6 months, 2 sessions, or maybe three. When I really think about it, I think no more than 3 sessions a month with somebody.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's too much.
Yeah.
you know and it's also okay for you to do a session where you're going in and doing
Mhm.
the work, and then like more of an integration session where you're working with thoughts, beliefs, things that are coming up as they
Mhm.
reconfigure, right? And you don't necessarily have to say this is how it's going to work, because it's almost impossible, right? Your
Yeah.
body that
Yeah.
you live will need time to catch up.
Yeah, yeah. And I tell them that a lot of it that I do is very intuitive as well. Like I mean, because there's like things I'm gonna be sending them, like prompts and stuff to connect to, but it's very connected to whatever's like, I mean, to what's being channeled through when I'm connecting to them during the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bespoke. Yeah, it's it's giving it enough time and space for it to unfold through you is really important. And that you don't have to you don't have to have a structure where they know exactly what's going to happen in every session, or exactly this is the process that you go through, because it is very individuated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Catherine.
All right. You're amazing. You're, and it's great that you're having these conversations with people and getting this going. Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm like, it's definitely, I feel like it's coming closer to time for me to start doing stuff with people.
The time is now.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Anybody else want to talk to us before Michelle has to call on you?
Okay, I'll talk.
Leslie.
Hi. So, so this is where I'm at. So I don't know when it was, but I had this major breakthrough. You guys know about it about 3 weeks ago. And then lots of energy. This is what I wanted, but I didn't know exactly what it was gonna be, you know? And so now, now I have all of these things to do, and I've kind of sorted them out into transition from a traditional therapist to my new role. So I'm doing things within my some structures, and then also in the clients that I have, because I have about 60 clients in my that come to me from time to time or whatever, or they're in a group or something. And so so I'm changing up what I'm doing with them, just kind of in the moment, not on paper, to fit under this new umbrella. And then the other thing I'm working on is the online therapist model that I have coming. I got lots of people calling, and so I've got another therapist, and I'm funneling the ones that aren't really, I'm just funneling him as many as he can take, and then getting that to go without as much attention would be a goal, I guess. And so I think I'm on the fly, you know, so I don't have a plan, and it's kind of aggravating, but I mean, that part's kind of aggravating, but I kind of live like that. I live in the moment, and I do stuff, and I just try everything out. So the first week was, I'm going back now to that first week after my breakthrough. I was just like, I felt so good. And everything was just like bubbling out, and all of this stuff that I had started back 20 years ago, and everything that I had envisioned, and then I went traditional, right? So not only am I revamping or unraveling the business I have, I'm rebuilding another one, another two businesses, and then I'm dealing with the artist that's emerging. So holy shit. So that second week I was waking up in the middle of the night with art ideas, and I was moving, and I was singing, and I was writing poetry, and I was buying art products, and And so I'm, so one of the legs to what's happening right now is I'm creating modalities in that experiential therapy model. And so I was full of that energy, and then I show up. So the modality that I'm most interested in getting on paper to create and finish creating is personal theater. And I had a personal theater group back in St. Louis, 20 years ago. Women that I taught to be in the moment on the stage with lights, and how to access spirit, access memory, and use that on stage. And so that's the one I'm trying to get on paper and create and develop. And so I told someone about it, my Pilates teacher. She goes, oh, and then she and I take Pilates at the Performing Arts Center, of course. And so she takes me on this tour of the Performing Arts Center. I end up in the black room. It's like a blank canvas for drama. I'm standing there and looking at all the lights, and I went into my fear mode, and I don't think I came out of it for a whole week. Okay, I couldn't move, I couldn't talk, I couldn't move, I couldn't talk about anything. In fact, the following Tuesday, I came into Pilates. She goes, "Wow, your energy is really different." I was gone. I was just gone. And so then I met with Kat that night for an individual, and the goal was to make it back to the black room, of course, and have some movement there. So this morning, so I have something to report. I walked into the art director's office. I just ad-libbed what personal theater was. She wants to work with me. I practically have a key to the black room. She was, when are you going to start? And I don't have to pay for anything. So I just get to work around their schedule. So I'm shaking right now talking about it, because I came straight to the group with that. So that is very cool. So next week, to start with that, I'm going to the room and learning the lights there. I don't have to steal a stage. So years ago, I used to, I don't know if this sounds weird, but I used to get off on stealing stages. So I had this modality, and then I would sneak into a theater. And in St. Louis, that's kind of okay. I mean, you can do that, or I could anyway, because I knew the town really well. Sneak in, learn how to do the lights, and do what I was doing. And so I don't have to steal a stage right now. So that's pretty good. All right, so the next thing that's happening in that realm is I have a group that's been going. It's sometimes a little boring because I'm in the old traditional model, remember? So every once in a while I'll get the art stuff out, make them do art and whatever. And that turns out really nice, but I haven't done it with the hat on yet, And so tomorrow night, I'm gonna do a personal art kind of thing. I didn't write anything down. It's not a plan, okay? All I know is that I got a gal who needs to look at her family, and I asked her to take each character in her family and write a little 4 or 5 sentence bio on who they are, hand it out to the group on Wednesday night, and I would be the one, I guess, protagonist, the one with the abuser in the family. And so I'm gonna play out the family stuff with her, where she can talk with her father and her sister, and I'm gonna facilitate that in the moment. So that's going to happen tomorrow night. I was thinking of asking her if she wanted me to record it, because it might have a lot of meaning for her, if I recorded it. I'm not sure if I'll take it that far, because there's other people in the room and stuff. So So that's what's happening over here. Next Tuesday, I go to Pilates, and then I hang out in the room on the dark room or the black room for a couple hours after I learn the lights and everything. And so I'm going to write up that modality. So I got a lot of shit going on. I stopped listening to Kat's videos at this moment because I've got so much other stuff going on. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be going back to the beginning to start over to kind of see what I want to do with that that creative business anyway. And then so yeah, okay. There's my report, and thank you very much. And ta-da! Ta-da!
Oh my gosh. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. You've done such a great job at like opening, exploring, getting triggered, getting shut down, freaking out, coming back to center, making it happen, making plans, doing all the things. And yeah, what you've done a great job with that. Will's asking if it's like constellation work.
Yeah, if I were to look it up in a book, it probably is, but I never got any training in it. Yeah. So I'm taking my personal theater idea and all of my therapy practice experience, and I'm going to play it out in the moment tomorrow. So
yeah,
you're right. Yeah. Family constellation stuff. Yeah. And I think I've only read the definition of it. That's all I've done. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure I can pull this off. This is
Michelle. Yeah. Michelle, what do you have? You want to just talk it in?
Sure. Leslie, 2 cents. I would actually advise against recording because stuff like that can crystallize. And if you're doing it as moving, your client's going to get out of it whatever they need to in the moment, and you don't want them to like look and fixate and pick apart later.
Good idea.
Great. Amazing work, Leslie. You've done such a good job.
Not with, I mean, I, you're my family from now on, Kat. I'm sorry, but I had a client tell me that, and I was really, I don't know, I was a little uncomfortable with that because I don't like commitment or anything, but now I know.
All right. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay. So what else? Who else? Super big congratulations, Leslie. Can we, some of our men, do we have any manly input here? Yeah. Psycho magic. Jochen, you're picked. It's like the lottery.
Yes. Some male energy. I've had a realization that feels like dumb, which is that when I do my best work with people, or in general, that I actually am, at least partially, it seems, in the business of creating an experience for people. Surprise. As opposed to just talking to them, which I thought I was just talking to them. It's apparently not what's going on. That has unlocked so many things for me. It's not even funny. And once I noticed this, and I just started appreciating it, and then talk to someone else, is like, oh, there's even more magic that can happen, even if I stay within the realms of a normal conversation, or what people would consider relatively normal conversation. And so now I've been playing with that and have had a lot of fun with it. Why I'm telling you guys this, I'm not entirely sure, but it seems super meaningful. It is actually super meaningful for me to do this, and this and oh yeah, and then I've allowed myself to take to take executives pretty much straight to an experience, which I'd never dared to do before. Like within like 20-30 minutes, we're actually having an experience with whatever that means in my context. So there's a whole lot of unlocking that has happened through that, and I think it has partially to do with having given myself the freedom by way of that piece that I published on the Facebook group. But what I'm doing is to actually completely go away from modalities or what I actually do or what's actually happening, and just saying what comes out of it on the other side. And that's been I think that's been immensely liberating. And that has just started, like, I don't know, a few days ago. So I'm still riding high on that at the moment. We'll see what that we'll see where that gets us. And what I've also noticed, and this is like way out of the scope, I think, of what we're all here for in some ways, but doesn't matter. And then I noticed that as I'm starting to appreciate that I generate experiences for people, I also appear to have started to manifest stuff in my life and maybe to some degree in other people's lives. And that's been also something I haven't gotten my head around yet fully. And I hope I won't be, because it's pretty cool. And if more cool stuff comes my way, then that's pretty awesome. So, and so I completely have lost. At the moment, I have actually zero interest in, in just experiencing this and having fun with it. And I have almost zero interest to figure out if that's a business and how it is one and all that other stuff, because it's just way too much fun to, it's not like it's not hard work. I mean, I have this strange thing. I call all of the stuff that we do, and even the hard and nasty and scary stuff, I call that fun. There's a term in engineering that's called scary fun. This is when you scary fun when you release some code into the world and you're not exactly sure it's going to work. So that's part of my definition of fun. And so I am as you hear, in the middle of that thing that has unlocked for me. And yeah, that's kind of what I think I got. Of course, it puts me full on back into I'm not entirely sure what I do, but what I do seems to be pretty awesome and a lot of very exciting. So I'll just continue doing that.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
I think, Jochen, for you, really getting, if you're really clear on who you serve, just like who these people are, and you're able to say, yeah, I serve you. Like you are the person, you are somebody I love working with. You're somebody that, like, this is the kind of person that I love working with. And they have these traits and qualities, and just giving yourself permission to let the how, like, like, they don't need to know how. They don't like, they're good with not knowing the how. They're like, oh, this is a thing. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. So let's do it.
Then the other part that happened is that yesterday I talked to somebody, and that person essentially gave me a whole program that I could pretty sure implement when I get around to it. And so my peeps are people who have the ability to be highly functioning in the 3D consensus world, and preferably they're athletes too. And so there's a whole set of growth points and pain points and challenges that all hook in really, really deep in our lives. And just appreciation that that's not just my problem, that all of those people have, chances are, the same thing that they need to, and many of them want to grow through. It's the difference between having read it in the book and just having experienced it again. So it's and then if I just listen, people actually will hand me complete offerings in a nutshell, like that. So yeah, there you go. Is there anything else? I don't know. Ask me questions. It's like that's where I'm at.
Yeah, well, I think it's good work. You know, you're getting comfortable with this and
Yeah.
getting comfortable with being able to be like, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that's challenging, but I feel like when you're, you know, you being able to really speak to who you are, you know, who the people are, and to understand who they are, what they're struggling with, what their deepest desires actually are, and, you know, the things that they're looking for on their way to their deepest desire. Is the pathway, you know, for you right now, and to play.
Yeah.
Keep playing. Sorry, that's your homework.
Thanks.
Yeah. Scary fun. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's an interesting conversation to have, you know, people who are drawn to things like surfing and these different things where it's like they have this aspect of what is the scary fun of life, and then they've built this life that somehow doesn't actually give them the fullest expression of that. Like there's different blocks to that being who they are in the world. It's sort of only in one section of their life. It's only in one place, and yet it could be everywhere, but it requires really changing a lot of stuff about ourselves to open to that.
And the really bizarre part is that people like that, including myself, have an absolutely clear message and have it all their lives in their bodies, what they need to be doing, at least for part of their lives. It's just, you cannot reject that. And at the same time, it's completely, you know, all the guilt and the fear and the just everything is gets hung off that. It's just uncanny how that goes. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Michelle says it's adrenaline of the soul. Michelle, can you get a title for Eliza, please? Yeah. Michelle loves to name things. Okay. Terrence was being nominated. God, you guys.
Thank you, William. Appreciate that. I look forward to your update following mine.
Lena, we got a name for you. It's in the chat.
I've had a really affirming week. I got super clear around timeline of the sort of embodied somatic sex education piece of it, as well as a download of a name for it, which included getting a domain, having the domain stolen and reclaimed as of this morning. So stay tuned for a 2022 launch of Sex Math.
Of sex what?
Sex Math.
Sex Math. Okay.
Right? Sex Math is hard. Sex Math is easy. Sex Math is soft. X plus Y solve for Z, etc. So that piece of it.
Square root of 12.
Exactly. Right? Like, you know, it's not easy, it's not complicated. All you need to do is think about and solve for the problem. Yeah, so that piece is sort of off to the side now that the domain has been purchased, as well as the Instagram
Because someone
handle.
else was looking for Sex Math.
I think because it
right,
got
you
listed
search
in
and
the
then they
domain
search.
registry,
Yeah.
someone saw it and like
Yeah.
somehow like grabbed. It was weird. But Network Solutions confirmed this morning that it's mine.
Great.
So that happened, which was good. I've got about a quarter of my website built, which feels really good, as well as kind of a timeline of offerings and what those containers might be. Now to build a language around selling them, but got clear on that piece. And then the sort of most affirming bits were when I made that Facebook post a while back asking people to answer the question, what makes Terrence Terrence? That led to somebody reaching out, wanting to have a conversation with me. This is someone I've known for 30 years. And we ended up sort of having a session, which wasn't sort of, positioned in that framework. And he had been dealing with some serious grief for 3 years that was unexpressed except to therapists, not even to his partner of 30 years. And we broke through it. And he ended up texting, and I sort of gave him the update of I'm beginning to put together these offerings. And then he texted me later that night. And he's like, "You're a natural healer. I've not been able to reconcile this for 3 years, and you broke it wide open." And so we're talking about doing another session when he gets back from the East Coast. So that was fantastic on Friday. And then I did a breathwork facilitator training over the weekend, and both of my practice sessions were huge for each of the participants. So spirit and universe confirming and affirming for me that this path feels right and correct. And now just dealing with the logistics of putting it out there, applying language to it, and beginning to invite people to the temple.
Brilliant. Yay. Incredible work, Terrence. Such a good job. Really, really beautiful. I'm super happy. I hope he will continue to work with you and see that there's a value at continuing and having this different kind of space.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah. I'm excited too. This is great. Brilliant. Terrence has also done a shit ton of work this last few weeks, for sure. Gotten a lot done.
Yeah.
So incredible. You guys are so amazing. Will, you've been nominated.
There's nobody left. Come on. What was I say? Maybe let's recapitulate the appreciation, gratitude, and honoring of all of you amazing beings, and how truly heartfelt, special appreciation for actually having the privilege of being in community and communing with you all. So thanks for me, and yay, you all are amazing. Do I have to say anything else?
I mean, you don't have to.
No, it's been fun. And, I could check in and talk about my checked off to-do lists. Let's have a small moment of celebration, because a funny thing happened right before we got on the call. I actually got an email inviting me to facilitate, as in lead facilitate, a circle of men. And that's never happened before. So, woo!
Yay!
And other invitations coming. So that's been a nice little oh, right, yeah, this is happening, and connecting. Maybe you can. I had a similar experience as Terrence this weekend, as having a very long and unexpected, chat with this clearly a young Jedi who's just truly in his nascence of understanding his role as a medicine person, and so that's been fun. And 2 birds died during the phone call, so Spirit had something to say. Support perspective around, it's been hilarious. I think it's now hilarious. Instead of kind of hitting my head against the wall, taking a step back to realize, what did I want to say? And I just got emotional. I've spent so much time discounting what's actually the vibration that I bring, because, this is very serious work that we're all doing. And yes, it is. And we can all share our, from a vulnerable, authentic place, our stories of deep pain and, just this vibration of joy and enjoyment and levity Like, and yeah, we got to do this. So doing some work with some of the intuitive people that I seek guidance for, just like now coming to just understand that, well, like my work is an invitation to celebration and adventure. And it doesn't have to be anything more than that, because it's like, here's the temple door, come on in. It's amazing inside. There might be some scary fun, but like, we're gonna have a blast, so come on. And like, instead of just trying to solve all this shit, like the cerebral, I'm very masculine and structural, and it's like, no, there's nothing more than like, come, just come. That's it. So that's where I'm at.
Great. Brilliant. Thanks, Will. Will's also gotten a lot of stuff done. He's like masterfully created an entire like slide deck of massive production of what his entire temple is about. And it's highly impressive and more thorough, 72 pages, Terrence says. It's more impressive than anything that any of us have done, honestly. It's 81 pages. Yeah. So and there's diagrams and bubbles and all kinds of shit. It's amazing. Colors, and it's time to launch. Terrence says, just get it out, get it out, get it out. Ah, right. Michelle's like, so you ready for people yet? Yeah. People. I may have someone for you in Fort Collins. Great. Will is ready for people. We're gonna be there in a week and a half with Snow Raven, who's already bringing fucking nutty shit to my world. Okay. What else? Anything else? Rachel, you got anything?
I've been trying to decide what I would want to share because there's so much going on. I think the work that I've been doing has been a lot quieter than I expected. I have a website that's ready to launch. I just doing some deeper energetics to just prepare. Yeah, I've just been going through, I don't know, something about when I finished my website put me into a full, I don't know, upgrade and I don't know, shift that I'm still navigating. I have everything so mapped out and I'm so ready to go, and yet it's still just a quiet time. I don't know. I'm having to really trust it. I think someone mentioned it earlier, somewhere along this call, of what I'm really practicing right now is the second I want to do something, or I'm getting that nudge or that aligned feeling, not needing to reach out to work it out with someone else and get advice and really, really start to trust myself and whisper of my business. But that is something that's been really consistent through this time is I sit down every day and channel my business. I have a full-blown conversation with her, and we've been doing so much deep healing, lineage healing. Yeah. I think what's interesting is I have this huge like one-on-one program mapped out that I'm really, really excited about, but yet my business wants me to really focus on, I have a session called Cosmic Breath, which is we open your Akashic records and ask one question: what do you need to know now? And then we do a full breathwork session to integrate that into all levels of your being. And I don't know, I think that's what I'm going to really play with launching and bringing Cosmic Breath out into the world. It's good soul level and embodied work. Yeah. I don't know, but it still goes with what I was sharing in our channeling. I was so ready to be out in the world and launch and all that. And I'm just so quiet right now. I'm just in such a quiet, gentle place. And I'm having to navigate that because it is not what my brain wants to do. That's where I am. And I've loved this group. I'm bummed I missed last 2 calls because of my day job, but I love being in this vortex with all of you. Your magic. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. And I love the cosmic breath. And I love, you just being where you're at and being like, this is where it is. And, and this too shall change. And there's nothing stays the same. And so you might as well enjoy where you're at when you're there.
Yeah. When I was writing with my business, and this may be worth sharing because some of you may navigate through this as you're moving in your businesses. My business is like, you think you have this plan that's the way to get there, but what if this quiet path or wherever you are is the actual quantum leap? Sometimes the quantum leaps that we need aren't at all what we think they should be because they don't go with the linear plan. And that's where I'm like mind fucked right now. Like I had a whole plan that I'm like, I fucking love this plan. I'm so excited. And my business is like, and we're not doing any of that right now. And you're going to have to trust me. You're portaling through some shit and you're going to come out the other side and it's going to be fine. And it feels really shitty sometimes. Because a part of my mind is like, oh, this is just you not showing up. This is just you giving up. And that's not true, but I'm having to navigate that brain conversation.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Thanks for comments, everyone.
Yeah.
Surrender. Surrender. Oh, it's funny you say surrender. Every time I write with my business, the first image she shows me is just me floating in the most calm water and just like, let me hold you. Just let your whole body go into this process. So
yeah. Well, and I think this is I think that before when you were running your business that you were pushing it around and you were needing it to be a certain way and doing a lot and engaging with it in a way that isn't this deep listening and this deep relationship building. And I think that it's important to have the perspective of, when you start a new relationship, you spend a lot of time like just kind of being with it, like you have this new relationship. It's not like you're constantly doing things together. You're sort of just like being in this experience of like, okay, let's sort of figure out how this is what it is. And it feels a certain way and retuning and reorganizing and, and being with it. And it takes up a lot of time actually to
really does.
do that, be with the relationship of it.
It feels very full, very, very full. Yeah. But not busy, but full. Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments. Yeah, you're reading it. You're reading the energy very well, everyone, of what I'm moving through. Yeah, so thanks for listening and confirming to just let myself be in the process of it. And
yeah,
that deep trust. I don't have to control everything. That's my day job, corporate America, project manager mode is I can't control this work. I have to let it evolve through how it wants to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Because then that's the space that you get to hold for people.
Yes.
And you get to welcome them into something that they haven't actually experienced yet.
Yeah.
Because it is scary to actually trust your life and relax into it and let it hold you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is part of the work that, I used to do so much high level energy work up in the vortexes and I'm really being called to embodiment and really teaching the channels of the world, the empaths of the world to learn to stay and to be here with yourself. So I'm in that,
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah.
So what we need. Leslie?
Hey, I wanted Michelle, Christine to hear this, and I don't know if she saw her little instant message, but while you were talking, I got a call from the outside, from someone named Magdalene. Okay. And it like showed up on my phone. And I said, holy shit. Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you for sharing that. I love that.
Yeah.
Ah. All right, you guys. Anything else? We can still post in the group. We can still give and get feedback. Please do. Please let us know how things are going. Michelle Hawk.
Yeah, can I have a turn?
Oh, you didn't have a turn?
No, I've just been talking so much for.
You've just been talking so much. I'm like, oh, do you need a turn?
No, it just seems like I've shared already. I have another dragon retreat book. I have one for April and one for May. Yay. And I'm now kind of wondering like what would happen if I just like really hard leaned into the dragon stuff, which I haven't ever done. But every time I mention dragon things, I get clients and I get people coming. They're like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. And so if I actually mentioned it more, maybe that would be a more consistent thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind
It's
of where
when we were on, Michelle and I were in a little mastermind together, and we were on the call, and you were like, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this. And it was just like, all of the energy was like dragon retreat that I felt. It's like, just do the dragon retreat.
Right. So I have a dragon retreat booked for end of April. I have a dragon retreat booked for end of May. And then I have a feeling one of those people is going to come back again in July or August, because there's no way we can do multiple dragons in a single retreat. That's just not going to go well. So, so that's sort of where I'm at right now. Of yesterday, can I do a plug for Heroes? Not everyone here is in Kat's Heroes program, right?
No.
Right. Okay. So yesterday I had one of these days where I was like, I can't do anything. I can't work out. I can't do anything yang at all. I have to be in completely yin mode, yin practice. I need to eat carbs and take a nap. And I've been having this weird like inflammation stuff in my fingers. So I was like, all right, need to do all the yin stuff. So I got on, I did a couple of the practices that are in Heroes. I did the most secret name practice, and I did something else. And then I just did some intuitive Qigong and Guardians practice, and working with the Guardians, and then some dragon stuff. And it was lovely. And if you're not in Heroes, I highly advise you get on that, because it's lovely and awesome. And I'm sure Kat will tell you how you can do that. Where am I in my cycle? I am, I think, about to bleed in like a week-ish. Is that high creativity time? Cool. Okay, great. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel some energy kind of moving around, and like the Libra full moon totally kicked my butt the other day. And I feel like I showed up in a really sort of courageous, vulnerageous way. And I like had a couple intimidating conversations of just like asking for my needs and having them met, and being like reflective on relationships and community and everything, and being present with some crunchy feelings at the same time. And now, like yesterday, I was so just down for the count. And today I'm like, I feel amazing. Okay, what can I do? So hence the ideas for you. And I feel like maybe if I just talk about dragons, I wonder what would happen. That's where I'm at.
Okay. I wonder what would happen if you just talked about dragons.
Right. If I actually told people about the thing that I've been avoiding telling people about, because it feels hard to explain.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that, in some ways it's like you were doing the alchemy program and the work, and it was almost like the work of doing the alchemy program was what created the space for the dragons to come in.
Yeah, I had the dragon, like my first dragon initiation before I started doing the alchemy stuff. but they feel interconnected. It's like, well,
Yeah.
dragons are the original alchemists, right? So like they're the ones who are the portal makers and like the initiates, or like the, you know, initiation keepers of this wisdom. So it definitely went very hand in hand of like, here's a dragon initiation. Now here, do all this alchemy stuff. And while you're doing that, we're going to give you more dragon initiations,
Yeah.
because alchemy is the way in which you can cognitively and intellectually operate with the magic and the void space of the dragons.
Yep.
So I feel like, and when I think of, every time I consider, you know, so I have the year-long alchemy course, and I'm like, well, year 2 needs to be a dragon year, because, you know, you're learning all the, and I already have the idea of how it would be formulated. And so like people graduate from the year 1 alchemy course, and then we spend, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be a year, but we spend, I don't know, 6 months, or it could be a whole year. It could just be like continuous year. And then I have a year 3 as okay, I already have the curriculum for this. I just need more people in the first one so they can keep doing
Okay.
further down the line.
So I think if you just talk about dragons, you're going to be fine.
Right.
Keep it simple, keep it easy. And then when you feel like, woohoo, I have some big thing, you know, to be, you know, putting out, I think you putting out your opt-in, because you do have a dragon opt-in, right?
Yep.
I think promoting your dragon opt-in and getting people more on your list who are interested in dragons, you know, like putting that out there more often, you know, maybe doing an Instagram ad on, I've been finding like my Instagram ads, I spend way less money and have more results actually than Facebook for me. And it's like, it's a fucking dragon. Like everybody wants to see that. Everybody wants that thing.
Cool.
So, you know, you get a good image and a free opt-in. I think people are gonna bite.
Cool. Thank you.
And yeah, just start building that list out at the same time, you know, as you're talking about this. The dragon people.
Yep.
And then do you have an automated email sequence after they do the opt-in that's inviting them into a dragon conversation or dragon something else, the next level of the dragon thing after the opt-in?
No, I haven't built out anything in a sequence because I haven't felt like I have anything to build them into. But now that I'm doing the dragon retreats, that would be a logical
The
thing.
Dragon Den.
Dragon Den with Michelle Hawk. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I have the
Dragon Dialogues.
the Dragon Dialogues. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have hours and hours and hours and pages and pages and pages of dragon channeled material. Like I have a lot of dragon dialogues, but
yeah.
But yeah, the Sapphire Dragon line specifically, like that is, I do have this vision of like, okay, people been based on the practices that they have me doing with the people who are coming in for the initiations. It's like, okay, building the lineage holders to anchor in on the earth plane the frequency of this particular dragon lineage, and having you know, like building out the practices, like the temple of the Sapphire Dragon line,
right,
and having like a membership with those lineage holders.
Yeah, great. It's perfect.
Yeah. Right.
So I want you to start thinking about those simple steps of taking the opt-in you already have, using that to build out an email sequence to something you're already doing. And so it might just be to right now the retreats, and then to think of something very simple, maybe that could be the next step of the opt-in, that maybe from the opt-in, then they're being invited to do a simple course or a simple
I already
something.
have the Dragonheart Council recordings from last year that I could turn into people just buy like dragon transmissions.
Right.
Yep.
So they could buy the dragon transmissions, but they could buy the dragon transmissions plus, you know, like give them an option to do something with you live, because if somebody gets you on a call and then you're giving them the actual transmission and you're giving them some information based on them, they're going to be a yes to whatever else you do next, because they're going to experience your work.
Great. Cool.
So yeah, give them a way to have some sort of experience with you one-on-one, so that they can get that like, oh yeah, this is what I want, and this is the shit.
Great.
Because she's reading me.
Awesome. Cool.
Good.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Dragon lady, do 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 do. Aneshka, we talked about this on one of the earlier calls. Elizabeth D'Alto, she has a good setup where she has ability for people to both sponsor scholarships and receive scholarships. So I look up her stuff for her Wild Soul movement. She's has that in action. Call number 3. It was a live call after the systems module. Yeah. Anything else, my lovely, lovely people? What's next with me? Oh, open your channel. Starts on the 4th of April. If you haven't signed up, sign up now. If you know anybody who wants to sign up, send them to me immediately. That's what's going on with me. Snow Raven's arriving at my house tonight, and Heroes is also the membership. Join Heroes. It's incredible. It's amazing. That group is about the sweetest, best group of people I've ever met in my life, other than you guys. Yeah, and then events, this weekend in Santa Fe and next weekend in Boulder and with Snow Raven, and then on to the next. But that's the main thing. Open your channel in Heroes. And yeah, so we'll have the Facebook group. You have the materials. Please keep reaching out, keep connecting with each other, keep supporting each other, keep liking each other's stuff and sharing each other's stuff. It's so helpful. And let me know if you need anything. Let me know if you feel stuck. Lena's going to be in Open Your Channel. Ray's going to be in Open Your Channel. Rachel's already done it. Michelle Christine's done it a long time ago. Will did it a long time ago. Just did the retreat. I don't remember. Terrence has done it. Everybody's done it. Aneshka did it. She came to the retreat and with her fucking badass guides. It's the best. Leslie's gonna be there. Woohoo! That's right. Leslie's like, I don't think I'm gonna do it because of the money. And then like the next day, she's like, oh, the money, it's there. It's happening. It's gotta happen. Well, the courses of the universe are like, no, you're gonna be there, Leslie. All right. You're incredible, you're amazing, you're brilliant, you're talented, you are a superstar, and the world needs you so much now more than ever. And I love you, I love you, I love you. To be continued. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life, for being a part of your business, a part of your creations, a part of your amazing magic, reaching out into the world and changing everyone everywhere, and just to dedicate all of this work, all of these transformations, all of this energy that we are collecting together and witnessing each other in. We are reaching that out through space and time for the betterment of all beings, so that we all may awaken, that we all may find our truth, that we all may see our connections to each other, to the divine, to this beautiful Mother Earth, and do incredible work that benefits all of us. Thank you. Bye, everybody.